Hey you beauties, what's going on? My name is Delaney Kalea. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. I know it's been quite a while. This is a video of first impressions of the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I just got this palette today as an early birthday gift, and let me tell you guys, I love it. Just want to go ahead and throw that out there. I love it. If you guys want to see how these shadows perform, make sure you keep watching. But before we get into that, I do just want to talk a little bit about myself, introduce myself to you guys if you're new. So, like I said, my name is Delaney Kalea. I am 21, almost 22 years old. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm currently in Montgomery, Alabama. I am a professional makeup artist. I have been professionally trained by Laura Mercier, Dior, Smashbox, Chanel, and Laura Mercier. I am not only a makeup artist on myself, but I'm also a bridal makeup artist. I am Barbicide certified, and I just love makeup a lot. I'm affiliated with quite a few makeup companies, Morphe, Benefit, Ofra, Gerard Cosmetics, Pixie Beauty, everything y'all need to know, and all my discount codes are down below. If you need help with any kind of products I'm affiliated with or anything like that, please be sure to leave a comment down below. I respond to everyone. And also, please be sure to follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I always answer my DMs on there as well. So please know that I am not one of those influencers who just ignores everyone. I do try to get back with every single person, and I want you guys to know that your support means a lot to me, your love means a lot to me, and I don't take it for granted. So I try to get back with every single person that messages me and that comments on my videos, because that really does mean the world to me. So yeah, welcome to my channel. We're gonna have a lot of fun on here, you guys. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, that's so important, subscribe, and then also share this video out to your friends or your Instagram story or wherever you feel like it. It would mean a lot to me, so we can build up this family. And I have around 700 something subscribers right now, so if we get to 1,000, that'd be really cool. Yeah, you guys, if you want to see me use the Natasha Denona Bronze palette and see what it's all about, keep on watching. We back to the tube. What's up, tubers? What's cracking, tubers? Okay, so first things first, we're gonna prime the eyes because it's a crime not to prime, people. Y'all know that you need to prime. My primer of choice today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer. I really like this one because it's super fair and it really makes the shadows pop and really shows the shadow's true pigmentation. So I'm just gonna take the littlest bit on my ring finger, and I'm just gonna pounce that onto my eyelid. And the reason why we use our ring finger is because it's our most delicate finger, and you need to be careful on the eyes, people. You don't want to go prematurely age in those eyes of yours. So be really careful and use that ring finger. Another reason why I love this primer is because it hides all my veins. Anyone else have that problem? Bunch of veins in our eyelids. So I really like this stuff. If you haven't tried it, seriously, I highly recommend it. It's so good. Okay, and before we go into shadow, I am going to be setting that primer because you do not want the shadows to stick or grab or anything like that. So I'm going to be going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth powder. I use this powder for my face and I absolutely love it. And I'm going to be taking it on a Morphe M510 brush right here. And I'm just going to lightly pat the powder in, and I'm only using the teeny tiniest little bit. And I'm also going to take that powder out here as well in case I decide to smoke out the shadow, which who knows, I really don't know what I'm doing today. We're just kind of winging it and seeing what happens. I just really wanted to try this on camera because I swatched it earlier, fell in love with it, and wanted to use it on camera for you guys. So I don't really have a plan on what I'm doing for this look. I'm kind of just like doing whatever my brain is telling me to do tonight. So just hang in there. This is really just a first impressions on this palette, and let's just see how it goes. So I'm going to be grabbing the Morphe M441 brush, and this is a nice natural hair fluffy brush, and I'm going to be going into the shade, Sundown, which is that really pretty almost sherbet orange shade. And I always tap my brush off because you do not want excess eyeshadow on your eyes, or else you're never going to get it blended. So I'm going to put that right in the transition area. And yep, just as I expected, these two. Super creamy and easy to blend. And this is my very first Natasha Denona palette, and I've always wanted one. And when this launched, my mom bought it for me for my birthday, early birthday. I love you, Mom, thank you. And so yeah, I'm really excited to finally have one of these. I've always wanted one and I finally have one, so I'm super pumped. So I am just blending that into the transition area, and of course, I don't expect anything less from Natasha. She really perfects her cosmetics, even though this is my first palette. I've been following her for years. And I've always wanted one of these, and everyone always loves them. And I'm really glad that she lowered the price point on these too. Like $65 for this palette is amazing. Like totally worth it. Also, I know I've talked about this if you've watched Facebook Lives or anything like that. I'm holding my brush at the butt of the brush, at the end, the end, whatever. And the reason why I do that is because this is going to allow you to not completely blend out your shadow, and it's going to help you softly blend it without taking away pigment. So kind of think like 3 hairs and some air, if that makes sense. It helps you blend out that shade and make it super feathery and light and dainty, all that stuff you want, especially for the transition area. We started with the shade Sundown, and then now we're going to deepen this crease up just a smidge. I think I'm going to go in with the shade Suntan, which is this one right here. And I'm just going to take it on the same exact brush, tap it in, tap off the excess, and I'm going to plop that right in the outer corner and then slowly bring it in. And I'm keeping this pretty low onto the crease, so that way it's easier to blend. And remember, you can always go back in and kind of reinstate that transition area if you lose it a little. If you're just like a blend freak like me and then you're like, oh crap, I blended out what I started in the first place, you can go back and add it, don't worry. So I always start pretty low with this so I don't accidentally do that, but things happen. And again, holding it at the butt of the brush. And I am saying the butt because you know what? I like that better. I think that sounds better than the end of the brush. I think it adds a little something funny, okay? Deal with it. So yeah, I'm not noticing these patching up at all or being hard to blend. Like, so far so good. And honestly, these shadows, I expected them to be awesome because these shadows were made in Italy. So I don't really have any shadows that were made in Italy, so I was super pumped about that. And you can definitely tell that they're made in Italy. And you can always go in and deepen it where you want to. So I grab a little bit at a time. That's why I also tap, because you don't want to go in like too quick with a darker color or else you're just gonna have a mess. And that goes for any shadow that you use. So just take that into consideration. Take a little bit at a time. I probably blend way too much, but that's just me. So far, so good. I love this color combo, and I know a lot of you are like, Delaney, you're doing bronzes and oranges and tans again. Yes, okay. Don't fight me. These have been my ride or die colors since I was in high school, and I'm never gonna stop using them, so here we are. Okay, so the next shade I'm gonna grab is the shade Magma, which is right here. And we're gonna grab a little bit of a smaller brush for this because it's a lot deeper shade. It's a lot more of a deeper shade, and we wanna be really precise where we're putting this. So I'm taking a Morphe M433 brush, a staple. I'm sure you guys know exactly what this brush is. And I'm just gonna plop that in the outer corner. So I'm basically just patting it there first. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'm lightly feathering into the crease. Just the teeniest, teeniest, teeniest amount. Like I said, guys, you need to just take your time. Take your time with this. Then what I'll do is I'll take that Morphe M441 again, and I will lightly blend out the edges. Just same thing on the other eye. Just gonna pat that shade right in the outer corner. Then bring it in, keeping it low. Shawty got low, low. Keep it low, people, okay? Keep it low. Because if you bring it up too high, you're going to have to start over. It's going to be a big old mess. And take that other brush that has a little bit of that last shade on it. And we're kind of holding the brush at an angle here. And then just blending. And then again, take that big old fatty brush. See guys, like if you're like, I can't get my shadow to blend like you, make sure that you're like taking the steps. Like, I'm already using 3 brushes and I'm going to be using more. But just, you know, take into consideration what tools you're using, how many, the steps you're taking, all that stuff. I particularly love Morphe brushes, as you guys know. Duh. And if you guys like any of the Morphe brushes I'm using tonight, you can use code GLAMFAM985 on Morphe's website for $5 off your $10 or more purchase. Gotta make the plug. Who am I? I mean, if I don't make the plug, who am I, y'all? Come on, use that code. Use it. So next, I'm going to be going into the shade that I'm probably the most excited about because I swatched it and literally died. This is the shade this is the shade Deep Dive right here. And Natasha made this one super creamy so that way you could smoke it out and wear it as a liner. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that. We'll just find out, but I'm definitely going to use it to deepen up at the outer corner. So I'm going to grab this Morphe brush. This is from a collection from like 3 years ago. I really don't know. It was some limited edition one. I call it the ostrich collection because it came in like this ostrich like carrying case. So I'm just going to call it that. I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this shade. Tap, 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 tap. I'm going to kind of pat this at an angle here, because I've really been trying to get into that, like, I want to start doing that foxy eye type situation at an angle. So we're not doing that tonight, but I'm really liking angled looks for some reason. I'm not sure why, but just really into it right now. So I'm taking that shade at an angle, and this shade is so creamy, I'm barely having to blend much because it's just melting into the skin. And I am going to grab just that Morphe M441 and lightly, and I mean literally barely touching the skin, and I'm just swirling that together. And like I said, you can go in again with that transition shade to blend stuff out later, which I probably will do, you know, in case you're a blender like me and you blend for 85 years and then lose your initial shade, and that's fine. We don't shame the blenders here. You blend as much as you want. So I'm just... Rude. Diabetes is rude! Okay, so I'm just patting that to the outer corner, just like the other eye. You get the gist. And I'm going to just blend her back. I'm gonna blend this together. Yeah, I love this palette already. Love it. And like I said, y'all can come at me for using bronzes and oranges all the time, but you know what? They're my favorite, and I'm never going to stop using them. This palette was basically made for me, Natasha. You had no idea who I am, but you made this for me, and I appreciate you, girl. Thank you. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like patting where I want it to be a little bit more dark. So, you know, like I said, take a little, God bless you. Take a little bit at a time to build up that desired depth that you want. And then take that brush and swirl it. And who knows, maybe I'll do the smoky liner. I really don't know yet. I haven't decided. And I am going to kind of take this shadow and wing it out just a little bit because I really, really like that look. But you don't have to do that. That's the fun thing about makeup, is you can do it however you want. Do it how you like it on your face. I'm just here to show you guys this palette in action. And so far, so good. And it's totally, to me, worth the $65. So then I'm going to take that Morphe M510 and lightly, and it may look like I'm blending hard, but I promise you I'm not. I'm just lightly dusting just to get it super blended. I do want it just a little bit deeper. I told you guys, this is why you build, because you don't want to like do too much and then hate yourself for it later. So I'm deciding that I want it a little bit darker, so I'm taking that Deep Dive shade. And I actually want my crease just a smidge darker. And honestly, this is the perfect shade to do that because it's so creamy. It's perfect. And we'll probably definitely go back in with that transition shade to just reinstate it because we are losing it just a little bit, and that's okay. I'm gonna take that big old fluffy brush, diffuse it. Okay, so now I am gonna reinstate that transition shade, which is Sundown, and I am just lightly gonna put that on top of everything. I'm kind of patting it, and then I'm slightly blending. And then I'm gonna take that fluffy brush again. Everyone needs to invest in one of these big old fluffy brushes. Seriously, this has changed everything for me. And I've already been like a blender, but like this has just kind of like changed my life, honestly, because it just diffuses everything out so perfectly, and I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to go without it. So this is the Morphe M510 if you're interested. Okay, so now I think it's time for some shimmer, which I'm super excited about. These went on so creamy, so beautifully, and I'm really not sure what shades I'm going to use. I think I want to go in with the shade Alloy, which is this gold right here, and then we might do a little ombre action. We'll go into a shade a little bit darker, but I definitely want to use the shade Rhodium a little bit, so we're going to find somewhere to put that. I'm probably going to go with my finger first, just because this formula really melts into your skin when you use your finger. So I'm going to take that on my ring finger. I'm going to lay that down. Okay, a little bit of fallout, nothing too bad. Yeah, that looks nice. But I am going to go in with the brush because I can't really get into my inner corner. So I'm just going to take what I have. And I guess I'm kind of cutting the crease with this, not really. And then if I want to add a little bit more. So that was the shade Alloy. I do recommend wetting your finger. They do apply a lot better on your finger when it's wet, so I do recommend using the shimmers in this palette that way. Okay, so next I think I'm going to go in with the shade Gloaming, which is the shade right here. And I'm just going to take that on my finger again, and we're going to pop that right in the middle, and we're going to marry these two colors together. Okay, yeah, these blend really well together, which is nice. Okay, yes, love that. And then, last but not least, we're going to go in with the shade Rhodium, which is this one right here, which I'm super excited about. And we're going to be super careful with this one. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with that shade Deep Dive again. And I'm lightly going to blend that out a little bit more. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to take this Morphe Jaclyn Hill 32 brush, and I'm going to take that shade Sundown again, which is the transition shade, and I'm going to pop that right back, because like I said guys, I blend a lot, so I lose the transition shade sometimes, so just keep adding it back where you need it. This palette is gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so I'm finding the best way to apply these shades is to wet the finger, and then kind of when you're applying it, press it and roll it into the skin, and that seems to help it really adhere. Shade Gloaming, I'm putting that right in the middle, and these really ombre nicely into each other, so you don't really have to do much work. And then taking the shade Rhodium. Okay, taking Deep Dive again. We're just reinstating that shade in the outer corner. And then taking Sundown and just putting that orange back. And I am bringing that orange in a little bit more. I wanted more color here. I'm lightly bringing that in. Okay, so that looks really good. So now I'm going to do the lower lash line, and I'm trying to find my favorite little smudger brush from Morphe. So now I'm taking my Morphe M508 smudger brush, and we're going to do the lower lash line. So I'm going to take the shade Magna, which is that second shade that we used first, and I'm just going to bring that right underneath. And I am making sure to connect the lower lash line with the upper lash line because you want it all nice and cohesive. And your lower lash line, you guys, really does matter on how you apply it, because I know most people probably look at a lower lash line and they're like, this is not that big of a deal, but it really does tie the whole look together, so it's just as important as the top. So then I'm going to take the shade Sundown and I'm going to put that right underneath. And I'm just smoking that out, and I really, really like a super smoky lower lash line. That's always been like my favorite way to do my eyes. You don't have to smoke it out near as much as I do, but I do have some pretty gnarly under eye bags right now, so I really like to do this, especially when I have pretty bad under eye bags, because it creates the illusion that they're not as bad as they are. Okay, and then I'm going to take the shade Deep Dive. So now that we have got the lower lash line done, I think I'm probably going to do some smoky liner because I do wings a lot and I'm kind of over it. I want to try something different. So I am going to use the shade Deep Dive to do a liner. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a brown eyeliner. I normally use my black Pixie Beauty one, but I'm thinking for this look I'm going to take a brown instead of a black because I don't want it as harsh. So I'm just going to take this in the waterline. I am being kind of messy with it, but you can always go back in, which I probably will, with that darker shade, the Deep Dive shade, and just kind of smoke it out a little bit more. And I am also going to tight line the upper lash line as well. So I'm going to take the shade Deep Dive again, and I'm just going to use that to smudge out a little bit of that liner because I was pretty messy with it, which is okay. And I'm going to go in and really smudge it out. Okay, so now that we've got that, I think I'm going to do a smoky liner on the top. So I'm going to take that same brown liner. Just use any brown liner that you'd like. Doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to lay that down on the lash line, and I am only using just a little bit. I'm trying to stay as close to the lash line as possible because you don't want to like make it too thick or else that's going to defeat everything you just did on your eyelid. So keep it close to your lash line. And then I'm going to take a Deep Dive on that same Morphe smudger brush, and I'm just going to start to smudge that. And like I said, this is going to be super smoky. So again, you don't have to be super precise with this, but I was thinking that a smokier liner would look a lot better with a look like this than like a harsh black liner. Plus I want to use this palette as much as I can for this look. Yeah, I love that. That looks really good. Okay, so this shade is great, honestly, all around for blending into the crease, for doing a smoky liner. I absolutely love that Deep Dive shade, and I knew I would from the second I touched it, so absolutely love this palette and that shade. I'm also going to grab the shade Sundown again on a Morphe M433. Should have known that, it was right there. And I am going to take a little bit of this orange, smoke it out right there, because I really like how the whole eye look is just orange on the perimeter. I really, really like that look. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm also trying to keep this look as like close to like Natasha Denona vibes as possible. So I don't want to like do like what I would normally do. I want the vibes. I want the Natasha vibes because I love them. With my own twist, of course. You never want to just completely copy someone unless you give them credit. But I want to, you know, make this my own as much as I possibly can. So I didn't really want to plan out a look for this either, so you guys could see like where I was heading with it, how the formulas were working, making decisions on the fly, seeing what I needed to do, what I needed to add, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I didn't really plan out anything, so you guys get my full first impressions on this palette. I'm going to go ahead and just set my entire face face, I'm using the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. This is currently my favorite. I also really like the Ofra Makeup Fixer. I just kind of alternate between the two. So I'm just going to go ahead and set my face, and I'm also going to set my eyes as well. Obviously, close your eyes when you're doing this. You don't want to get this in your eyes. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and do my lashes. So I'm going to be using the Benefit They're Real mascara. Benefit definitely makes some of my favorite mascaras ever. So if you guys want some good mascaras that are actually going to do something to your lashes, Benefit is amazing. I also, drugstore wise, really like the Essence Cosmetics Lash Princess. So whichever one you want to go for. I like all three of Benefit's mascaras. All three of them are amazing. I just grabbed this one. And I'm not going to like worry too much about making them, you know, super perfect because I am going to be putting lashes on. Okay, so in this palette there isn't a shade light enough for me to highlight my brow bone with, so I'm just going to be grabbing this Star Island highlighter from Ofra Cosmetics. You guys know that I love Ofra and their highlighters. Use code Delaney for 20% off. Again, you gotta make that plug. And I'm just taking this Laura Mercier cream color eye brush, and I'm just going to be hitting the brow bone. I'm not even going to hit the inner corner with this because I don't want to take away from what I have going on in there already with the Natasha shades. So I'm just going to hit the brow bone because I love brow bone highlight, but you can totally skip this step. So for lashes today, I'm going to be using these lashes by Vixie. They're a UK brand and they make amazing lashes. I'm using number 17 today. I'm going to be wearing these today. Okay, so now that we have the lashes on, one more thing you can do just to blend them a little bit better, and if you feel like they're just not quite like wispy enough for you, you can take your mascara and kind of put the majority of it at the base here, and then you can lightly brush it, and I mean lightly people, brush it into the falsies, and what that's going to do is it's going to help blend your lashes better, but also kind of make your falsies stand out even more, so I highly recommend doing that. So I don't hear many people talking about that little trick, so there you go. See why you need to subscribe? You get all the little tips and tricks that you don't hear from most people. So now we're going to finish up. I'm going to be using the Gerard Cosmetics Nude Lip Liner. Use code Delaney for 30% off. And then I'm going to be using the Ofra Flexi Slick in the shade Urge. Use code Delaney for 20% off. No, but seriously, guys, it does mean a lot to me if you use those codes. I'm not trying to like push you to, but it does mean a lot to me if you do. So I'm just going to go ahead and line my lips with the Gerard one. These are my favorite lip liners ever. Hands down, they're so creamy, so pigmented, and they feel so good. They don't dry your lips out. They're seriously the bomb, so I highly recommend these lip liners. And I do like to overline just a little bit because I do have lip fillers, but they need touching up like bad, but I just can't do it right now, so I'm just going to overline them. And I am going ahead and filling in my entire lip with this shade. Okay, and so now I'm going to be going in with the Urge Flexi Slick from Ofra, and I absolutely adore these because it's a liquid lipstick and lip gloss hybrid, and it has the opacity of a liquid lipstick, and they're so comfortable. They wear literally all day, and they don't dry your lips out, and they're so pigmented. You get, just wait. That's insane, right? These are seriously like one of a kind, and I've never seen anything like these on the market, and they're so underrated, so you guys definitely should check these out. They're amazing. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this first impressions of the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I really enjoy this palette. I definitely think it's worth the $65. I definitely do recommend using these shimmer shades with a wet finger. That has been the best way to apply it for me. And of course all the mattes are super creamy, they don't get stuck, and they're not patchy. And I absolutely just love this palette, so I definitely recommend this. Natasha, you killed it. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos like this one. So yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!